Mark this day, September 16th, 2018. It's a big one in Connecticut because the Hartford Courant has done it right. Yeah, take a look at the editorial page. September 17th, 2018, Hartford Courant, because you've got, for the first time, a liberal editorial board that wants to see a labor union compromise. We've needed this for an awful long time, and the Courant, to its credit, has moved in the fiscally responsible direction really for almost a year now. I'm pleased. We should all be pleased when they say that SEBAC needs to be renegotiated. Now, I actually don't take quite that stance. Mine's up next. But to hear that they recognize it is responsible for coming close to a Connecticut bankruptcy. The other irresponsibility is 70 years of not funding things properly. But when on top of that, legislators have given in to demand after demand after demand, most recently in 2017, for state workers who are way above the average for state workers across the state and way above what private business pays in health care benefits and pension benefits. Salaries are about the same, okay? Now to my take. I would not change SEBAC. Okay? I'm now the one closer to what unions want than any other candidate. Conservative Mark. How does that happen? I wouldn't change SEBAC for a couple reasons. Number one, I honor contracts. Don't force people using the power of the government to undo something that was bargained for. Number two, I think we can get back to a wealthy Connecticut that is able and actually proud to pay its workers who are diligent, its good workers, really, really well. Indeed, I'm the candidate who wants to raise your pay. For good workers who make the state money or save the state money, you guys are going to get pay raises under a Greenstein administration. SEBAC itself may be not so necessary when good workers get individually good contracts and don't need the collectiveness. The only people who really need collective bargaining are the weak workers, okay? Because without that collectivity, they may be in a lower ranked job or out of a job totally. Now, is it right to be overly protective of incorrigibly bad workers? I don't think there's that many of them. But that's what labor unions do, and it's been especially vile with state workers. I think void of collectiveness, you end up with individuals who get better, okay? The 95% at least who are diligent and want to get paid well, left to more market forces, do get paid well. Maybe get paid better than they've ever seen before. Because what does Greenstein do? We have a G-force, the government force. The government force that's going to, one, aid Connecticut, two, use their honed skills to help other states, or to help private business in the state using their expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a shortage of labor in so many fields. It's not just manufacturing. We can use underutilized employees in very good private professions. The G-force is meant to do that. I have an EG force too. That's just for women. No, it's not for estrogen. I will explain the EG force in another video. The force we have of good, diligent, skilled people should be better used than in government service, which wastes things as the system is now. We are going to be able to pay our workers better if they're good. We're going to be able to let SEBAC potentially drain itself for good. In other words, for health, for salubriousness of people who don't want to be shackled. Some people still need to be, but most could do very well without. Let bargaining units bargain on wages and bargain on safety conditions. Get them out of health care. Get them out of retirements, okay? Let people individually save and spend as they see fit for health care and for retirements. They'll do it better. And that leaves a honed union, more able to get to better pay where warranted, to safer workplaces where warranted, and maybe even to uplift its workforces in terms of skills. Thus, people who want to open SEBAC, I think, are short-sighted. First of all, those Republicans who all wanted to go into the courts, you really want to trust the courts with their progressive judges, with legislation? No. You saw what happened with John Roberts and Obamacare. Leave the courts out of it. Don't use the government as a bludgeon. Use the beauty of private enterprise that some unionists have stayed away from and I think would really welcome. Of all things, we in Connecticut could use a lot of state unionists in semi-private work. We can build better submarines for our allies. You could help put aircraft into more Asian countries. You could help put ESPN on more screens. You could help expand capitalism to Latin America for tool and die and specific manufacturing. Of all things, unionists could end up being the drivers of Connecticut capitalism. How good is that? I am Mark Stewart Greenstein. I am very much in your corner. I'm glad that the Courant is a force behind some form of reform. Let's make it happen this year. Have a great week.